Namaskar to all of you, and welcome to this special episode of learning about Ganesha. Bhagwan Ganapati, so much to learn about him, and so this is the first of 5 episodes which we will take to understand Ganesha and to learn about him. As Hindus, we were always taught that before a puja commences, before we start driving our car, before we leave our homes, before we do anything, we must give thanks to Bhagwan Ganesha. And there is a reason for this because, we want everything to have a great beginning or a divine beginning. And no one wants obstacles in their lives. So our system, Hindu Sanatan Dharma, is designed in such a unique way that before our activities become, they happen, we bow to Ganesha, we put him in front to clear the path for us. And of course, we do not allow him alone to do all the work. We have to do some of it as well. In the course of the next few sessions, we'll be talking about Sri Ganesha. And in these beautiful festivities of Ganesh Chaturthi, we reflect upon him. And more so, we dwell upon some important names of Sri Ganesha. Before I get into the discussion of the names of Sri Ganesha, I want to talk about the coming of Bhagwan Ganapati. How he came and his role. Many of us know Ganesha Bhagwan with the elephant head. But he was not born like that. He was born as Vigneshwar, like any other child. He was not born from the womb of Mata Parvati. He was born from the body of Mata Parvati. I think by now many of us know the story or the description that Mahashiv Puran has given us. That once Mata Parvati needed a child. In the absence of Shivji in her life, because physically the Lord was everywhere else, and in the absence of Shivji, she needed protection, she needed companionship. She needed a child. The divine does not operate like the human being. If there is a desire to have a child, that child does not come forward, or come forth, rather, in a material way. The child comes into this world in a divine way. So Mata Parvati, one day as she was taking bath, the dirt from her body accumulated. And the accumulation of this dirt gave birth to beautiful Vigneshwar. Ganpati Bhagwan, or Vigneshwar as you call them, when he came forward in this, production of dirt put together, right? You think about it. Today the world on, Ganesh Chaturthi is actually taking clay and they're making Ganesha, and they are celebrating. A very pure form of Ganesha is Parthiv Ganesha, with the clay. But it is not kept too long because, of course, after worship, physically the clay wears away and, the murtis will become distorted. So, the only time we make clay Ganesha and worship him is during Ganesh Chaturthi. So, the clay came from the body of Mata Parvati, accumulated, and what happened? Ganesha, the Vigneshwar came. When he came, the purpose of his presence was to protect and to protect and to protect. But to protect who? Mata Parvati. He grew up and he became very protective. Ganpati has the protective instincts. Ganpati's nature is to protect. That is why wherever he is, he will always be protective. So, One day, as his mother was inside, he was outside. And he was guarding the doors of his mother just to make sure that no one enters. Bhagwan Shivji, with his Trishul, and his looks and everything else that he comes with, he's making his entrance into, his house, or where he belongs. But there is this little boy, Vigneshwar. He puts up his hands and says, "Are rukiye. Kahan ja rahe aap? Stop. Where are you going?" And Mahadev saw this little boy. Mahadev says, "Well, I'm going to my home where I belong." "Vigneshwar, you don't live here. My mother Parvati lives here. So how is it that you live here? I've never seen you here." And so they started the argument. So after a little bit of back and forth, Bhagwan Shivji got upset, because this is no way for a young man to behave. This is no way for a young man to behave. Vigneshwar started to show resistance to Shivji, and he started now a battle between himself and the Lord. Nobody can combat Mahadev. And when Mahadev asked, "Who are you?" he says, "I'm the son of Ma Parvati." Then and there, Mahadev took his Trishul and he threw it. He took his Trishul and he threw it. And then when he threw the Trishulam, what happens? Ganapati or Vigneshwar, then his head was severed from his body. I think most of us know this story, so I'll summarize it from here. When his head was separated from his body, Mata Parvati came out, and Mata Parvati was very upset and said, "You need to fix the head." Bhagwan Shiv sent his ganas and says, "Bring the first form of life, the head that you see in the first form of life, bring that to me." And so they went and they saw an elephant. They took the head of the elephant and they brought it and put it on the head of Ganesha. And then he became alive. Our Hinduism, by the way, has the first, we can say this is the first record, or the first record of head transplant being done. The Lord transplanted the head of the elephant, Airavat, on Ganesha. He became alive again. Why would a father do something like this? Why would Shivji Bhagwan do something like this? Well, Shivji Bhagwan did this because when he knew that this is Ganesha, his son, because son of Ma Parvati, and he saw the amount of rage he had in his head, this young boy Vigneshwar had in his head. He saw the amount of anger he has, the amount of false pride that he has. He says, no. My son cannot fetch this amount of anger in his head. And so it was time to separate that head. It's a symbolical separation. That's how I want you to think about it. This is, of course, there is no way anyone will go ahead and do that in the time that we live in. And please, that's not the message here. This is the work of the gods, and their business is very different. But Shivji's Bhagwan messages was that my son does not deserve to possess all this kind of anger and rage that he carries. No one of us. And that is why the minute we go in front of a deity, the minute we go in front of a guru, we bow. You know why we bow? We bow and we present this very hot head that we have. That very stubborn head we place at the feet of the God. We place the head at the feet of the Guru. It's a Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara. No. Right now at the temple we stand up and we bow because of the conditions. But there are most cases we bow and we say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. We offer our head. Guru is my Brahma and my Guru is Vishnu, this Shiva, Guru is my friend. Then take this head of mine and purify it. And when we go to the God, we Shuklam Bharadhanam Vishnum Shashivaranam Chaturbhujam, we say, God, please take this most stubborn head of mine and purify it. Purify it. So the replacement of that head means that Shivji Bhagwan has matched the intelligence. He has matched the intelligence with the body. Ganesh Bhagwan, from that day he was called Ganesha, the leader of the Ganas of Lord Shiva. The followers of Shivji are called the Ganas. So he became the leader of the Ganas. Now, Ganpati Bhagwan, that is the form, the manifestation of Ganesha. But I want you to think about this. And I've mentioned this many times, that when Shivji and Parvati Ma were getting married, when they were getting married, they performed Ganeshi Puja. The question is, was Ganpati Bhagwan born before they got married? If you should do the calculations now. You see, this form that we see as Ganpati, this form that we see as Ram Bhagwan, Krishna Bhagwan, these forms came down from Brahman itself. Ganpati is just a form that is revealed of Adi Ganesha, the eternal form of knowledge. He came as Adi Ganesha, right? He came as Ganpati. As the form indicates, Bala Ganapati. The meaning of the mantra, adorned with a garland of tender flowers, having plantain, mango, jackfruit, sugarcane, and sweets or modaka in his hands, and who is effulgent like the rising sun. And the color for Bal Ganapati is the red color. If you look at this form, or if you listen to, of course, the description, that adorned with a garland of tender flowers, all the things that Bala Ganapati, and you can see in the picture, all the things that Bala Ganapati possesses are nourishing things. They are gentle things, tender flower and nourishing things. What are the nourishing things? The plantain, the mango, the jackfruit, the sugarcane, the sweets, and he's brilliant as a rising sun. He has, in the form of Bala Ganapati, he has no weapon. He has no axe. He has no rope. He has nothing like that. He's just he has all the things that is going to provide nutrition for life. Ganpati in this form, Mahaganpati in this form, is telling us that as a child, right, as a child, we have to, we embrace certain a level of gentleness in our life, right? The way we speak to our children when they are young are very different when we speak to them when they are grown. The way we speak to a little baby, right? It's very different than you speak to, a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old. And when they get to 10, it's different how you speak to them when they were 3. And when they get to 15, 16, very different than 10, and so on. Bala Ganapati represents gentleness. In a baby's life, a Bala Ganapati, a child's early stages of life, gentleness of words, gentleness of looks, gentleness of karmas are important, because the child is like a sponge at that point in time. The child is like a sponge at that point in time, just grasping everything that has to be offered to him, Bala Ganapati. Secondly, he possesses all the nourishment. He doesn't have any weapons. And it shows you that the purpose of childhood, yes, is to display the innocence of your beauty. But additionally, it is also to nourish yourself. In this form of Ganapati, the children pray to him. Everybody prayed to Ganapati. Like in Vrindavan, when Sri Krishna Bhagwan, the most popular form of Bhagwan Ganapati is Laddu Gopal, right? Mera chota sa Laddu Gopal. Anyways, the baby form of Krishna is most popular in Vrindavan. Other places, other forms are. But in Vrindavan, baby form of Krishna. The women worship him as their son. The girls worship him everybody worship him as their son. Because everyone wants a child like Krishna. When we worship Ganapati as Bal Ganapati, what we are doing, we're asking our children, you can look at this many ways. we're asking our children to embrace childlike qualities and for Ganpati to bless them with childlike qualities. And when we worship Bhagwan Ganesha, like as adults, as we worship him, we're asking that may Bhagwan Ganapati be our son. Wouldn't you want to have a son like Ganesha? Protective, defensive, stands up for you, willing to put his head on the block for you. That is what Ganesha is. He put his head on the block for his mother. That in essence is Bala Ganapati. So in your home, if at all you want to worship Ganesha as Bala Ganapati, you can have any Ganesh Murti. At our temple we have three forms of Ganesha. We have Veer Ganapati, we have Trayaksha Ganapati, and we have Maha Ganapati. So in order to worship Bal Ganapati and to worship him as your child, you can simply have doop grass in your hand. No doop grass or flowers in your hand. And you can go Om Bala Ganapataye Namaha, Om Bala Ganapataye Namaha, Om Bala Ganapataye Namaha. You can chant Bala Ganapati for 32 times, you can chant it for 12 times, no matter. You can just chant it like that. And now we go on to the second form. When you master Bala Ganapati Namaha, then you go on to the second form of Ganpati, which is Taruna Ganapati Namaha. Taruna Ganapati. Tarun Ganapati means the youthful form of Bhagwan Ganesha. Carrying in his hands the noose. The noose means the rope. The hook. And the sweets, guava fruit, and bunch of corn ears, paddy, as they call it, sugar cane as well. Sugar cane is very popular with Ganesha. If you didn't know that, is a very popular thing for him. And he carries these things in his hand, sugar cane, and who vividly shines forth with his brilliant youthfulness. Taruna Ganapati, his brilliant youthfulness. So we see Ganapati now from a baby, he is now graduated to become a youth, right? And what in the youth sense of stage of life, what matters the most is body. When a youth is thinking, they're not in most cases, well, they are in most cases, they have a body reaction to everything, right? This is how the body is designed. It's not a young people problem, it's not a youth problem, it's the way how genetically we're built, right? In a young stage, you're thinking and reacting based on body. As you get older, other things are the priorities in life. This is no secret, you know this very well. So, Taruna Ganapati Nama. Pashama Kusha Pupam Kapita Jambu. No? We talk about Kapita Jambu. And then we talk about these things, the noose, the hook, the rice cake, the guava fruit, rose apple, and the bunch of corn, that paddy, sugar cane. He holds these things. And we worship him as Ganapati. So Taruna Ganapati means the one in the youthful stage. Youthful stage is very important in life. You can say Om Taruna Ganapati Namah to enhance your life as a youth. What does youth mean? Youth mean you're at the peak. You're at the peak of your physical body. You're at the peak of performance at your physical body. That is what youth means. In a yogic sense, in a Hinduism, it means you're at the peak of your body. You can be 30 and you're at the peak of your performance. You can run, walk, stretch, jump. You're at peak. You can be 40, you can be 50, and you can still be a youth. Because many of us have seen for sure, aged people, grown people. They have advanced in age, but yet they possess youthful attributes. They speak like youths. They walk like youths. They think like youths. They behave like youths. Youthfulness is about the peak of life and speaking from a physical. That is the time, when you are building your life. And Bhagwan Ganapati is worshipped in all stages of life. The baby form, now in the youth form, right? May Bhagwan Ganapati as Tarun Ganapati. How do you worship as Tarun Ganapati? You can have sugar cane and offer to him. You can have dup grass is offered to any form of Ganesha. If the youths of today want to enhance the peak of life or make use in a positive way of the youthful body, youthful state, Taruna Ganapati is worship. Om Taruna Ganapataye Namaha. Om Taruna Ganapataye Namaha. Om Taruna Ganapataye Namaha. So now you know two names. When you do your puja, you can say Om Bala Ganapataye Namaha. Om Taruna Ganapataye Namaha. The youthful stage. And of course the baby stage. The next stage of Bhagwan Sri Ganapati is called Bhakti Ganapati. Now rarely does a child know of devotion, right? A child stage, when you're like 5-6 years, devotion is not something that is present in you, but you're not conscious of it, right? It's like if you give a 5-year-old a $100 bill, they probably look at it and I remember my brothers. I have 2 elder brothers. One of them passed away. So when I was little, people would come home and they give me gifts, like notes, right? They give you a $5 or something like that, right? And I would have the $5 or $10 in my hand. And my brother used to smart me. They used to bring a handful of change, like 5 cents and 10 cents and everything. And they say, hey, Hardat, look how much money we have. You want all our money? I look at it and I say, wow, this is so much money. Because they have like 2 handful of coins in their hands, right? And they say, you want all this money? We give it all this to you. And you can give us your $10 bill. That was in Guyana, right? And so what you do, you do that as a little child. A child doesn't know the value of certain things, right? You give a child a $100 bill today, a 4-year-old child, most likely they won't understand what it is. As a child, there was hardly the presence of devotion. Long ago, there was a presence of devotion in child. Dhruv Maharaj, Prahalad ji and so on, they asked questions. When they were 5-6 year old, they asked, what is the right age to meet God? How can I meet God? What is bhakti? They had this conversation. Today, it is a bit different, where a child's, their focus is very different. Their priorities are very different. So, the child today would not have so much devotion, even as a youth, in most cases. Some cases, yes, but in most cases, there is not devotion to God in the youthful stage because the priorities are different. What do we say today? When you're a youth, your intelligence is hijacked by the hormones. It is how the body is built. That is how it is. There is no blaming here. But then after you grow out of the youthful stage, so Bal Ganapati, you grow out of the child form of Ganapati, then Tarun Ganapati, you grow out of the youthful stage of life, you get into Bhakti Ganapati. Then you are ready now for Bhakti. Bhakti means the devotional form of Ganapati. Devotional form of Ganapati. Nari Kelam Brakali, described as the Lord of his devotees and who shines like the autumn moon. First he was shining like the sun, Surya Koti Samaprabha. But now he is shining like the autumn moon. What does he have in his hand? A coconut, a mango, a banana. You see all the forms of Ganesha, banana. So what does he have? Coconut, mango, banana, jaggery. You know what jaggery is? Sweets, right? And sweets in his hands, modak. And the color for Bhakti Ganapati is white. The color for Bhakti Ganapati is white. It's a very unique form. Devotion, and the reason why Ganapati takes this form as Bhakti Ganapati. And why the color is white? Purity. If devotion is not pure, then it is not devotion. Devotion is like the truth. You can't speak piece truth, or half of the truth, or part of the truth, or little bit truth. No? Tell me a little bit of the... You can't do that, right? There is no way we can do that. So, this is the same as devotion. You cannot have little devotion. You cannot have some devotion. You cannot have a piece of devotion. You just have to have pure devotion. And this is Sri Ganesha. where he is called Bhakti Ganapati. Bhakti Ganapati, pure devotion. And devotion, when it is pure, it makes a connection between you and your divine. The purpose of devotion is to connect to the divine. The purpose of devotion in other aspects of life is to be fully committed to what you're doing, is to be fully committed to your job, fully committed to life, to community. Ganapati Bhagwan is called Bhakti Ganapati. The third form of Sri Ganesha is called Bhakti Ganapati. So you can say Om Bhakti Ganapataye Namaha, Om Bhakti Ganapataye Namaha, Om Bhakti Ganapataye Namaha. If at all our desire is to embrace devotion in life, then please worship Bhakti Ganapati. And the last form of Ganapati I wanted to explain today is called Veer Ganapati. This is a very unique form where he comes with so many weapons now. Devotion part is conquered. He was a child, he was a youth, devotee. Now he becomes Veer Ganapati. Om Veer Ganapati Namah. Veer means the hero. Armed with Bhetala. Bhetala is the weapon of power, Shakti. He is full of weapons now. He is armed with the Bhetala, the weapon of power, Shakti. The arrow, the bow, the chakra, the wheel of time. The sword, the club, the hammer, the mace, the hook, the Nagapasha or the serpent noose, the spear, the plow, and the shining axe. The shining axe, in this color, he's red, powerful color. If you notice what he has in this form, he does not have modak. He does not have the sweets in his hand. He does not have coconut. He does not have laddu. No. This is a business form. He means business to protect. Veer Ganapati. I have heard so many times how our young children say this kind of film star is my hero, or that singer is my hero, or this actor is my hero. Can you please make Ganapati your hero, Veer Ganapati? Please make Ganapati Bhagwan your hero. Make him the hero of your life. Tu mera hero hai. Tu mera hero hai. You become my hero, Ganapati. Because when he is your hero, you can never be reduced to zero. You can never. Arey Baba, kya gyan hai. So, this is Veer Ganapati. Veer Ganapati, when he becomes your hero, it means that he takes charge of you. It means that nothing is left unaccomplished in life. But we cannot let him be the hero alone when we need an accomplishment. We have to let him be the hero throughout our lives. Friends, these four names. So when you chant his name, Om Veer Ganapataye Namah, Om Veer Ganapataye Namah, Om Veer Ganapataye Namah, Om Veer Ganapataye Namah. I would like to put you in a sadhana where every morning, starting from Bala Ganapati, you chant his name 32 times. Now you know what doob grass is if I don't doob grass is, or Bahama grass or Bahama grass, right? Everybody know what that is, right? Everybody know? Good. Bahama grass or doob grass. You can go outside and get it and so on. Nice. It's COVID now, so be careful. Don't try that kind of stuff. You have to call his name one at a time, right? You can go Om Bala Ganapataye Namah, Om Bala Ganapataye Namah, Om Bala Ganapataye Namah, Om Bala Ganapataye Namah 32 times. Then you can go Om Tarun Ganapataye Namah, Om Tarun Ganapataye Namah, Om Tarun. Then you can go Om Bhakti Ganapataye Namah, Om Bhakti Ganapataye Namah, Om Bhakti Ganapataye Namah. Om Veer Ganapataye Namah, Veer Ganapataye Namah, Veer Ganapataye Namah. Do 32 times each. And you'll see what a difference it'll make in your sadhana, your life, in your just the way you carry yourself. And when we learn all the 32, then you'll be able to have 32 pieces of grass. Bal Ganapataye Namah, Tarun Ganapataye Namah, Bhakti Ganapataye Namah, Veer Ganapataye Namah, Ushishta Ganapataye Namah, and so on and so forth. Let's not get ahead too much of ourselves because we have 4 more sessions of Ganpati and his teachings and his influence in our lives. On behalf of Bhavani Shankar Mandir, we'd like to thank all of you for being part of this process of Ganpati Bhagwan's exploration, and may you continue to be devoted. May Ganpati Bhagwan continue to guide and protect all of you. Jai Sitaram, everyone. Stay blessed always.